This is the After Party, live with Kim McAllister. Pick a couch, grab a drink, and settle into the conversation.
Hey, it is the After Party live on this Trivia Thursday. Thank you for being here and bearing with all my computer problems. I have two computers. I've got the one I can kind of manage everything on and click from picture to picture and story to story. And then the one that I'm talking to you into right now. And this is the cheap computer that the cursor will just randomly disappear, so I can't click on things to make myself appear to you. So that was my problem today. But enough of my computer issues. It was a great Mark Thompson show. And tomorrow, of course, is Friday. We're going to have the, before we get there, tonight is the Cocktails, Mocktails, and Politics on the Nikki Maduro show. That is at 5 p.m. tonight. So after this show, that is our next stop on YouTube. And then tomorrow, of course, Friday, really lightening things up with Friday Fabulous Florida, Michael Schur, Michael Snyder, and then Tim Sika will be on here tomorrow. So that's kind of a preview of what's coming up. I do want to thank West Theory for throwing down another $5 super sticker. I say super sticker, but he does it via PayPal on this show. So huge, huge thank you to Wes for the $5 support every day that he throws down to this show. I saw Scott Rittenberg with a contribution today as well, $10. Marilyn throwing down $5. So big appreciation for the financial support you provide for the show to keep it going. I really, 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 really appreciate it. And I thank you for being here as well. I'm excited. Trivia Thursday, I had a request for geology. So I found some really good geology trivia questions today. We might get to another topic as well. But let's jump into some of these stories. Well, before I do that, let's go into the chat. Good afternoon, says Jim. Looking forward to the shelter of the after party. We'll scoop you up and keep you safe for the time that we are together. Punch and snacks at the door. Help yourself. Please do. We've got some great snacks today. Making myself a Crystal Light, says Blue Spark. Absolutely. Rhonda assembling furniture while she listens to the show today. Okay. I hope it's something cute. Very good. Nullifidian, looking forward to Trivia Thursday. Like it. Yeah, thank you guys for being here. I love your comments. And sometimes while I'm doing the stories, I don't see everything. So I have to go back afterward and reread everything. And I love to see the way you guys interact and what you have to say about all the stories and what you're saying in the chat. Let's jump into these stories right now, because I don't know if you saw this one, but there's a new crack at Yosemite or Yosemite. I think I grew up saying Yosemite, and I know it's actually Yosemite. So there it is. It's a beautiful mountain. A lot of people are climbing this, and it has been noted that there is a new crack. Yikes. There it is. And it's getting bigger and bigger. Oh no. Yeah, this is crack growing, and it's causing concerns for a lot of people. It's huge. This crack is huge. And again, growing every day. Climbers found it. It's on near the Royal Arches Cliff. They found it recently, and park officials went to take a look, and they say this crack is actively occurring. They now have to close sections of the park as a safety precaution, just in case parts of this rock should shear off and fall. This crack has partially detached a large pillar of rock near the climbing route known as Super Slide. Okay, first of all, why would you climb an area known as Super Slide? I don't know. Here's a close-up of that crack. Yikes. Yeah. Pretty big. So there's some serious concerns about this crack. To reduce the risk of rockfall, they've sealed off, the National Park Service, the trails while they investigate what the problem is here and what could happen. The climbing ranger and the geologist observed this firsthand. They could hear the mountain cracking like a frozen lake that wasn't consolidated, they say. And there were pieces of rock rattling down the crack without touching it. The park geologist said If you guessed we've never seen anything like this, you would be the winner. He's never been able to observe that in his 15 years in Yosemite. So the crack is reported to have moved about an inch over a period of 7 days. They don't know what that means as far as whether this whole rock face is coming down or not, but they are worried that it may be about to drop. Then again, they say it could take years. They just don't know. So until they do know, it has to remain out of bounds. They have to shut this part down. And so that's it. The crack, the Yosemite crack. And again, there's the close up picture of it. A word about booze now. We talked yesterday about the prevalence of drinking. I found this story about a new study showing how we can sober up fast. And apparently, there's a surprising way. And it doesn't involve drinking coffee or getting under cold water, taking a cold shower. No, it involves breathing, heavy breathing. Here's what they say. This is done by Canada's University Health Network. The researchers say once ethanol hits the bloodstream, 90% is cleared by being metabolized in the liver, which is a process that can't be rushed along. Aside from dialysis, all that can currently be done for someone with dangerously high blood alcohol levels is to treat symptoms, like ensuring they get enough oxygen to the brain. The other 10% of alcohol elimination takes place through the kidneys and the lungs. And they say the latter is the reason that breath tests reveal blood alcohol concentrations and that we can tell someone's been drinking by the way their breath smells. So the researchers wondered if harder, faster breathing might process alcohol more quickly. And they say, yes, it does. But they say you can't hyperventilate because then you just become lightheaded and pass out. So they've come up with a gadget. Here's a picture of this gadget. All right, you're supposed to breathe into the gadget. Helps you do some heavy breathing in a safe way, apparently. This gadget captures some of the expelled CO2 and returns it to the body when you inhale. So it maintains optimum levels of the gas in the bloodstream while alcohol is steadily eliminated. They say it's a very basic, low-tech device that could be made anywhere in the world. No electronics, no computers, no filters required. And the researchers say it's almost inexplicable why we didn't do this decades ago. Why are we just thinking of this now? Small sample group, 5 healthy men with blood alcohol concentrations of about 0.1%. Unlikely to be dangerous unless you get behind the wheel of a car or you're operating heavy machinery, right? They said those who participated in the trial were able to increase ethanol elimination by a factor of 3. They found the participants to be boring, but not uncomfortable. If nothing else, they say this device could be useful for those who need to sober up really fast after overindulging. So, yeah, got a new little device there. Why not? Always looking for a way to sober up in a hurry. Here's something I found out of Florida. For some reason, I'm seeing Wes shooting off rockets at this museum. So I emailed him and he said, yeah, they always have really cool things going on at this Florida museum that is now attempting paper rocket world records. This is the Orlando Science Center. On Saturday, they're going to gather everyone at the Dr. Phillips Cinedome. They're hoping 250 people will show up to set the Guinness World Record for the most people flying paper rockets simultaneously. Now, this is going to be a fun day. A paper rocket, they want everyone to know, is defined as a toy made entirely of paper that fits onto a straw. And when the straw is blown through, the rocket flies into the air. So you've got to make your rocket out of a straw. Members of the public hoping to participate in the record attempt are being encouraged to arrive by 10 o'clock Saturday. Seating is limited, only 300 people, and registration is on a first come, first served basis. And there will be an adjudicator from Guinness World Records to witness this attempt. They're doing this because they say they really tried to create these experiences that ignite curiosity and a love for science. And so they say they're excited to welcome everyone to try to get this world record and highlight the STEM skills needed to achieve it at the same time. And I can't wait to see the video from the flying rockets. So look forward to that next week. They've got have you heard about this? Going from fake rockets to real ones, the Artemis Accords. You heard of that? Maybe you have, because there's a lot of countries that have signed on to it, but I'm only becoming aware now. The Artemis Accords is a deal for space exploration, and there are now 48 nations that have signed on to it. Denmark, the most recent, and Denmark, a founding member of the European Space Agency. They are formally committing to safe, responsible space exploration that benefits humanity by signing the Artemis Accords. The United States and 7 other nations created the Artemis Accords in 2020 to provide principles grounded in the Outer Space Treaty and other international agreements regarding space exploration that promotes the beneficial use of space for humanity. NASA saying Denmark has contributed to space exploration for decades. They have collaborated with NASA on Mars exploration as well. And that the fact that Denmark is involved in signing the Artemis Accords further international cooperation and the peaceful exploration of space. The signing of these accords with Denmark and other countries is reportedly strengthening ties with all of our allies in the space race. So, it feels kind of sci-fi-y, right? Wasn't there some type of accord signed on Star Trek for space exploration? I mean, hey, we have to be able to agree on something somewhere. So this is a good start for us. I know we don't talk politics on this show, but this is something I'm doing, and I think I might have mentioned it. The sales of Plan B, which is kind of the emergency contraception after either something happens to you or you've made a bad decision. Within a certain number of hours, you take this emergency contraception, and it prevents, I think the mechanism by which this works is it prevents implantation of anything, anything being a zygote. It prevents pregnancy, basically. And there's a worry that some type of national abortion ban will prevent something like Plan B from becoming available, from being available to people like it is now. Right now, you can buy it at Target for $50. And I think there are cheaper options as well that I found for $19. It doesn't expire for 4 years, which means it'll last a whole Trump presidency. And I thought, why not buy one or two just in case my daughter or her friends get into a situation where they might need it and can't get a hold of it. So that's what people are doing, stocking up on this stuff. And I think it's also a way to, you wonder what you can do. You feel helpless maybe in the situation. How do you prepare? How do you plan? Are you going to be ready for the next 4 years? And it may be a way to help prepare, right? You're doing something, getting yourself ready. It's almost like weathering a storm, right? Preparing for an earthquake. Well, in the wake of Trump's victory in the election, retailers are saying, I'm not the only one. Online sales of emergency contraceptives have soared. Women worrying about the incoming administration could they think have limited access to emergency contraception like this? And so they're saying they're seeing women stockpile emergency contraception pills. Sales spiked 1,000% in the first day after the election. They say they recently launched multi packs of Plan B and that this was the driver. A lot of the increase in orders they saw, about 90% of emergency contraception orders are in these multi packs. So there's another website that sells this stuff. And they say their morning after pill called Restart, they had sales up 315% after the election day. Things skyrocketed immediately. The majority of their sales also coming from their multi-pack. So it's not that women are buying a single product, they are stockpiling to have these on hand for themselves, their friends, their sisters. In my case, nieces, daughters' friends, anyone who has an emergency. I don't want them not to be able to have the choice to have, who knows what's going to happen. So I told my friends that have daughters the same age as mine, I'm a safe place. Let them know. And I have another friend who's doing the same thing. She told me the same thing. If your daughter doesn't, want to tell you about something, tell her she can talk to me. I have the stuff too. This is the steps we're having to take. These are the things we're having to do. Yeah. Lighten it up now. Lotto of the day. It is this one from Missouri. It's another one of these cases where somebody almost threw that winning ticket in the trash, but they heard a news story about this unclaimed lottery prize and thought, oh, well, I guess I better check that old ticket that I thought was no good. This player told the Missouri Lottery he bought his ticket for the October 26th drawing at Fastlane on Highway 6 in Taylor, Missouri, but forgot to check the ticket after the drawing. So then he's scrolling on his phone days later and he comes across this news story about a $1 million Powerball ticket sold at Fastlane. And he remembers he hasn't checked that ticket yet. He said, I was actually about to throw it away. And then I thought, well, maybe I should check this one. The ticket matched all 5 white balls drawn in the October 26th drawing. The man's wife initially didn't believe he'd won $1 million. I thought he was in shock, she said. I thought he was joking. Not joking. Won $1 million. Almost, because he almost threw that ticket in the garbage can. It turns out, perhaps, people really like buttons, and maybe the buttons were a safer option than touchscreens on our cars. And there have been studies showing just that, right? Some car makers are now bringing back knobs, buttons, because people want them back. For a while, new cars had replaced all the buttons with these iPad-like digital displays, even though they knew that it could possibly make drivers become distracted. But now it looks like we might be reverting back to the buttons and the knobs again. After going all in on touchscreens for years, Korean car maker Hyundai, or how you say Hyundai, is publicly shifting gears. It's funny, everyone has a different way they say this car name. There's there's no one way. Hyundai Vice President of North America, Ha Hak-soo, talked about the shift. He said the company was lured in by the wow factor of massive all-in one-screen based infotainment systems. But customers did not share the joy in that. He said when we tested our focus group, we realized people get stressed and annoyed and steamed when they want to control something in a pinch, but they are unable to do so. So Hyundai is reversing course. They are going back to physical buttons and knobs for in-cabin controls in their new line of vehicles. And they are joined by Porsche and Volkswagen among the major brands going back to buttons and knobs. It's part of what they call screen fatigue setting in amongst car buyers. So, the car makers are able to pack in a bunch of features onto these touch screens. They've developed in size and functionality, and they weren't just used to control the AC and the radio. They could do all kinds of things, control the car mechanics, traction control, cycle between performance modes. But people, especially people that maybe not so quick on toggling back and forth and finding these controls, they didn't like it. They said, no, thank you. So, as car makers were outfitting the vehicles with larger, more intuitive touch displays and saving more money because they could just have this one device that controls everything, people were becoming more disillusioned with that and liking the old fashioned buttons. Many drivers finding the touchscreens overly complicated and annoying. A survey of US car owners by JD Power last year found a consecutive 2-year decline in overall consumer satisfaction with their vehicles for the first time in 28 years. And the main driver of that dissatisfaction? Complicated to navigate touch based infotainment systems. The JD Power survey found most drivers ranked passenger side display screens, a growing trend in the industry, as not necessary. 56% of drivers surveyed said they preferred to use their device's built in infotainment systems to play audio. It makes it clear owners find some technologies of little use or continually annoying. So, and then there was a study done by the AAA Foundation, and this was in 2017, that found these infotainment systems are a safety hazard, maybe a safety hazard, that visually and mentally they are distracting drivers for a period of up to 40 seconds as you look away trying to figure out which screen the thing you want is on. A car traveling at 50 miles per hour, says AAA, could cover a half mile during that time. Buttons and knobs aren't totally distraction free, but research shows their tactile response allows drivers to use them more easily without looking down or away from the road. So we're re embracing the buttons. They're coming back. Maybe not all progress and technology is good progress and technology. You like the buttons or do you like the screens? What do you think? I don't know. A Tesla is all screens, says Wes. Yeah, it's true. And my sister, who has a Tesla, who's now embarrassed that she has a Tesla, says it's sometimes hard to, it takes you a minute to find all the stuff that you need on those. I think you get used to it over time. I don't know. Calvin says touchscreen systems with functions beyond radio cost a lot more to replace. Separate components are better. Miss Organic loves the touchscreen on the Subaru. Walnut Creek Adult Softball says, bring the knobs back. Yeah. Jane Jetson got buttonitis. That's right. Eileen also wants the buttons and knobs back. Karen says, that's good news. Far less distracting. Blue Spark says, I know all the radio buttons, so I can do anything without taking my eyes off the road. Can't do that with a touchscreen. Exactly. Tammy says tactile pleasures and you can feel them and still watch the road. That's why people like them. You don't have to fiddle around with some screen with your eyes going back and forth, right? Calvin says you can remember the place where the knobs and buttons are without looking at them. Touchscreen, more difficult. Absolutely. And so we're going back to the buttons. John says sometimes when you reach for a screen button while you're driving, your hand moves and you touch a different screen button. Oh no. Ms. Organic says then our 64 VW bus has no buttons or screens. Wow. We had to wait over a month for the touchscreen part to arrive from Japan, says Deidre. Wow. Yeah. More costly to fix, more time consuming to fix, and really not as functional when you're trying to drive a vehicle. Well, pretty soon we'll all be, you know, in the back seat of those weird vans that shuttle us from one place to another that are driverless. So we won't have to worry. There'll be no buttons, nothing on the entire vehicle. No. Phineas says I have trigger thumb because of my touch screens. Walnut says I took a ride in a Cybertruck. No wonder it has a self-driving feature. That cabin is crazy. Wow. I've never been inside of one of those. Yeah, the Zeusk. We're riding around in our Zeusks with no buttons needed at all. No. I just think it's funny. You think your big fancy touch screen is where it's at, and people are like, "No, can we just have the buttons back? Thanks." Here's an interesting story about ancient artifacts from the Bronze Age. How cool is that? Can you imagine finding that? This treasure of Vienna or Vilena, but it's double L, so I'll say Vienna, appears to have an extraterrestrial origin. It contains iron, but the iron dates from long before the Iron Age began. Well, that brought up a lot of questions. It appears to have originated from space, according to new research. No joke, you guys. So, this was first discovered in 1963. The treasure of Vienna. 66 items, largely made of gold and silver. The treasures include bracelets, bowls, bottles, and other ornaments. A significant find. The items dating back to the European Bronze Age and representing one of the most important examples of goldsmithing from this area and from this time. So here's the hat. Here is or helmet. Here is one of the bracelets, iron bracelets. You can see some gold on there as well. I think that's the coolest find. Well, dating this treasure precisely has been a little difficult because of the presence of one metal. The discovery of the Cabezo Redondo treasure, also in 1963 with some golden pieces related to those of Vienna, suggests dates for both groups with the late Bronze Age, 1400 to 1200 BC. The bone of contention, though, that forced some researchers to lower the chronology well into the late Bronze Age, the existence in the Vienna treasure of two iron metal pieces, a small hollow semi-sphere covered with an open sheet of gold, supposedly interpreted as the end of the scepter or the baton of command, or a sword hilt, and also this open bracelet. So it's this item and it's this item. What gives? These items are confusing precisely because they're made of iron. It doesn't fit well as the Iron Age began later, 9th century BCE. And it's leading some archaeologists to date the treasure to this later period. But they say there's another possibility. Maybe this iron in these items came from meteorites rather than terrestrial sources. Maybe this iron came from outer space. So, items from the ancient past, including Tutankhamun's dagger, have been found to have been made from iron delivered to the earth via meteorite. So, they don't know. They have these invasive techniques trying to determine if the metal was meteoric. They say they ruled that out. They're now able to analyze these samples using mass spectrometry. The results of the analysis, they say, carried out of the Vienna treasure indicate with great probability that they are objects made from meteoritic iron. The cap was possibly made of meteoritic iron with a nickel content comparable to the global composition of the Mundrabia meteorite from Australia, analyzed years before in a different lab. The bracelet, they say, initially looked to contain less nickel, but follow-up tests showed slightly higher nickel content as well. They did further analysis into these artifacts. They say they need to look more into this to make certain the metal came from extraterrestrial sources. But they say looking at the archaeological and historical context alongside the chemical analysis, it looks likely that the metal came from a meteorite. Can you imagine a meteor crashing to Earth? Everyone running, oh, we've got a new hat material, new helmet material. Make me a meteor bracelet. Why don't we do that anymore? I don't know. All right. Let's move on to this story. Gophers. Oh, we have to get to trivia too. I'll do this last story about gophers and then we'll move on. Here's a cool story about little gophers. You remember when Mount St. Helens erupted? I mean, the whole mountain covered with ash, just devastating. Lava ash, debris turning the landscape barren for miles around. They thought it was going to take forever to recover from this eruption. But a team of scientists had this idea about how they could speed up the process. So they gathered some gophers and they took them up there on a day trip. They put them in this area that was penned in so they could see the difference that they were making. And boy, did it make a difference. And we're talking only one day. The gophers were there one single day. That's it. And they they made this massive, massive difference. So 2 years after the eruption of Mount St. Helens, the gophers were sent to the area on this day trip. They were placed in enclosed areas for this experiment, and they spent their day digging around in the pumice and the ash. Despite spending one day in the area, the impact they had was remarkable. According to researchers, 6 years after that one-day trip, there were more than 40,000 plants thriving where the gophers had gotten to work, while the surrounding land remained, for the most part, barren. Studying this area more than 40 years later, the team found those beavers, or those gophers rather, left a heck of a legacy. Plots with historic gopher activity harbored more diverse bacterial and fungal communities than the surrounding old-growth forests. They also found more diverse fungal communities in these long-term lupine gopher plots than in forests that were historically clear-cut prior to the eruption in 1980. So, they say the gophers should be praised for their unusual part in the story. Pretty interesting. It shows you what they can do. Here we are trying to get rid of these things from our lawns and our gardens. They're pretty amazing workers, these gophers. This study, by the way, published in the journal Frontiers in Microbiomes. Yeah, they made a big difference. All right, are you guys ready for it? Da-da-da. Here it is. It's time for Trivia Thursday, after party style. And because we had a request for geology trivia, I have geology trivia for you. All right. So we'll start with this one. Which famous rock formation in Northern Ireland consists of interlocking hexagonal basalt columns? I think we've had it on this show before, actually, a picture of it. Which famous rock formation in Northern Ireland consists of interlocking hexagonal basalt columns? Yes, Cranky gets it. No fair, you're right next door. Cranky Charcoal says it's the Giant's Causeway, and that is exactly right. The Giant's Causeway. I'll accept it. The Giant Staircase was close. Not the Blarney Stone. Yeah, it's the Giant's Causeway. Well done. Katie also has it. Trevor says something Irish, probably. I don't know. Next one. What is the process by which sediments are transported and deposited by wind, water, or ice? The process by which sediments are transported by wind, water, or ice? Oh, Katie was just there last year. Cool. That's awesome. John Watson says that would be called erosion, and John Watson would be correct. That is erosion. John Watson gets it. Nullifidian gets it. Erosion is the right answer. Next one. Which geologic era is known as the Age of Dinosaurs? Which geologic era is known as the Age of Dinosaurs? Hmm. Crustacean. No, the Jurassic. You would think that because of Jurassic Park. Paleozoic? Not what I'm looking for quite, but this is what I'm looking for. Mesozoic. Mesozoic would be the right answer. And you would think Jurassic would be, but no. Geologists say it is the Mesozoic era. Yeah, very cool. I'll also take dinosaurs emojis. That works. That works for me too. Nice. Which mineral is the main component of limestone? Which mineral is the main component of limestone? Uncle Jim explains Jurassic is part of the Mesozoic. So I guess, does that mean I have to accept all the Jurassics as well? You're all right. Everything's right. Lime, says Sandy. Calcium, says Tammy. Chalk. I got a chalk. I think I'll accept calcium. The answer is calcite. Calcite is the answer. So I think I'll accept calcium because that's close, right? Calcium carbonate. Calcite is the answer. Calcium sulfate. Hmm. Yeah. Calcite is the answer. I think anyone that had calcium in their answer, winner. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. Which famous volcano in Italy famously erupted in AD 79 and buried cities? I won't tell you what cities because that'll give it away. Yeah, that's Vesuvius, Mount Vesuvius. Vesuvi, says Deidre. Uncle Jim had it as well. Uncle Jim, I think, had it first. William says, yeah, Vesuvius. Who else? Walnut Creek says Vesuvius. Sandy says Vesuvius. Nullifidian, Vesuvius. Yeah. Next one. The term for the process of transforming sediment into solid rock through compaction and cementation is called what? What is the term for the process of transforming sediment into solid rock through compaction and cementation? You guys are probably smart enough to know this. I, on the other hand, would not know this. Metamorphism. Not the answer I'm looking for, but it sounds really good. Squishing. That should be the answer, but it isn't. Subluxation? No. Sedimentation? Compression? A lot of sedimentations. Makes me think it's right somehow. You guys question me. Make me question myself. Stratification? Metamorphosis? It is metamorphizing into something else. The answer is lithification with an L, like lithium. Lithification. That is the process of transforming sediment into solid rock through compaction and cementation. Lithification. Mm. What is the name for a type of glacier that forms in a high mountain valley? What is the name for a type of glacier that forms in a high mountain valley? What kind of glacier is that? Sorry, I had to take a cough break. A fjord. I like the answer. I think a fjord is more of a waterway, right? Cold. It's a cold glacier. Mr. Ice. An ice chunk. Hmm. Oh, Deidre, your son climbs glaciers? Wow. The answer is an alpine glacier. That is the name for the type of glacier that forms in a high mountain valley. What mineral is the main component of sandstone? What mineral is the main component of sandstone? Ooh, your son's an alpine guide. He totally would have known that one. Yeah, that's cool. How did you raise quartz, I think? Yes, I was gonna say, how did you raise such a risk taker, a daredevil? Quartz is indeed the answer. If you had quartz, you are winner, winner, chicken dinner. So we have Uncle Jim with quartz. We have John with quartz. Calvin throws down quartz. Nice. Quartz is the answer. Next question. Which famous geological feature in the United States is composed of colorful layers of sedimentary rock? Which famous geological feature in the United States is composed of colorful layers of sedimentary rock? Yes, it is the Painted Desert. Deidre gets it right. The Painted Desert is exactly what it is. That is the famous geological feature composed of layers of sedimentary rock that is colorful. What is the term for the process by which a rock changes its form or mineral composition due to high temperature and pressure? This is the term for the process by which a rock changes its form or mineral composition due to high temperature and pressure. Yes, it is metamorphosis. That is right. Metamorphosis. I think Nullifidian was the first of the party on that one, at least on my screen. Nullifidian, although I've been told that it can look different on different screens as to who typed it in first. Metamorphosis for Nullifidian, for John Watson, for Uncle Jim, still squishing from Walnut Creek Adult Softball. Tammy with Metamorphosis, Donna throwing it in there as well. Peer pressure. I think I'll accept that. Yes, that's what it is. What is the term for a cone shaped volcano made up of layers of ash and lava? This is the term for a cone shaped volcano made up of layers of ash and lava. Take a sip of my Coachella Valley iced tea. Oh no, I'm running out. A shield volcano. Not the answer I'm looking for, unfortunately. Nice try. I like it though. Is it not just called a volcano? Ash and lava cone, says Trevor. I liked squishing better. The answer to this one is a composite volcano. It is a composite volcano. What is the term for the study of the Earth's history through the examination of rock layers? What is the term for the study of the Earth's history through the examination of rock layers? Ice cream cone. Funny. Geology. That would be the wider field of study, right? No. And it's okay. Take heart, because I would not have known this either. Rock and roll. I like the answer. It might be my favorite one, even if it isn't right. Paleogeography, says Nullifidian. An excellent guess. Not the guess that will get you the right answer, but I respect it. What do we have? I'll give you the answer. Rock scientist. That works too. Rockology, says okayest mama ever. Aw. Okayest mama ever. Are you really mama to 3 boys? I think you are, because I want you to be the best mama ever. I sense that you're having a crisis of confidence. I want to give your confidence back. Rock of Ages, says Sandy. Rock Lobster, says Walnut Creek. The correct answer for the term of the study of the Earth's history through the examination of rock layers is stratigraphy. Stratigraphy. S-T-R-A-T-I graphy. Stratigraphy. Yeah, I know. You're thinking to yourself, how did I not know this? I'm gonna give you a I'll give you a break. Let's see how fast you can type in this answer. What is the hardest known mineral on Earth? What is the hardest known mineral on Earth? Did John get it? I didn't see. I'm sorry, John. You had it. You had it and I missed it. I'm so sorry. Look at you. Stratigraphy. Yeah. They spell it without that O. They don't say stratigraphy, they say stratigraphy. But hey, I'm giving it to you. Excellent. Thank you for calling attention to that. Diamond, says Uncle Jim, and Diamond is correct. Uncle Jim has it. Deidre has it. Nullifidian, Donna, Walnut, Gordon, William, Sandy, Calvin, Trump's head. That might work too. Yes, the hardest known mineral on Earth is indeed a diamond. What is the process by which rocks are broken down into smaller fragments? What is the process called by which rocks are broken down into smaller fragments? This one's, if you're looking at it, you think, oh, that's easy, but it's not easy if you don't know the answer, right? Pebbleology, says John. Erosion, crushing. This is actually quite close. I think it's the same thing, but they just call it something different. Erosion, says Deidre. Yeah, very, very close. Pulverizing, smashing, pulverization, pebblification, rock quarry. The answer is weathering. I don't know if anybody else had weathering. Did I miss that? The answer is weathering, which is kind of the same as erosion. So I would say that works, right? What is the term for a naturally occurring inorganic solid with a specific chemical composition and a crystal structure? They make it sound so complicated, and it really isn't. What is the term for a naturally occurring inorganic solid with a specific chemical composition and a crystal structure? You guys got it. Mineral, says Uncle Jim. It is indeed a mineral. I like this, by the way, Jose. Hulk smash. That's pretty good. Mineral. Did you get it? Yeah. Weathering like your paint. Yes, that's true. Mineral, says Donna. That is correct. It is indeed a mineral. Mm-hmm. Oh, teacher Lori with a lesson for us. Not the same, she writes. Erosion moves things, weathering does not. But if, teacher Lori, riddle me this, Batman, if weathering moves big rocks into small rocks, is that not movement? The wearing away, is that not movement? I see what you're saying, though, where you have erosion moving entire hillsides, moving beaches, moving piles of sand in maybe a more grand fashion. But even on a small scale, over time, weathering still seems like it's some type of movement or erosion. But you know what? I'm giving it to you because you know. Rhonda says, I can't play trivia and assemble furniture. It is your fault, Kim. I'm sorry. My bad, Rhonda. Love you, though. Just shout out the answers. It's okay if you don't type them in. Mama says, I had a dream last night that I was in high school and they hired Trump as a history teacher. I wanted to change schools and my parents wouldn't let me. And then I woke up. That would be quite a class. Teacher Lori says it can be both simultaneously. Well, that's interesting. It was a nightmare, she says, Mindy. Wow. Dieter says, I just hung up on my kids so I can keep playing trivia. You are hilarious. You need to keep that kid on the phone because maybe they might have the answers, right? I mean, you never know. All right, here's another one. What is the term for the breaking apart and the movement of tectonic plates? I mean, come on. What is the term for the breaking apart and the movement of tectonic plates? It's the term. And it's called the name is in the question. Earthquake, you would think, but no. A shift, faulting, earthquake. So this is the term for the movement. Continental shift, I'm getting. Best mom ever. Subluxation, fault lines, tectonics. The answer is, so this is the question and this is the answer, okay? What is the term for the breaking apart and the movement of tectonic plates? The answer is plate tectonics. Plate tectonics. Really? What is the process by which plants and animals are preserved in rock over millions of years? The process by which plants and animals are preserved in rock over millions of years. Yes, fossilization. That is correct. Fossilization. Mummification is good too, but fossilization is the answer. So we go for Uncle Jim and John Watson, and Sandy and Mindy gets it as well. Nullifidian, fossilization. Gordon, yeah. Fossilization is what we are looking for. Thank you. Pretty good. I like this category. This is a pretty good one. Which famous geologic feature in Australia is a large sandstone rock formation that changes color throughout the day? It's a famous geologic feature in Australia, a large sandstone rock formation that changes its colors throughout the day. Has two names. I'll take either one. Ooh, you guys do know this. Yeah, one name is Ayers Rock. Ayers Rock, yes. I'll take these. Ayers Rock. Cranky says, I think they changed the name now because Uluru is the other one. Nullifidian writes, Uluru. They drink too much in Australia. It's not really changing. Yes, the answer is, good job, you guys, Uluru or Ayers Rock. It changes colors throughout the day. Now I'm fascinated. Maybe we'll check it out on Monday. Even if it's not a cave, it's rock-like, right? That has to count for something. We'll take a look at that. Why not? Yeah. That's interesting. Now I want to see it. All right. How old is the Earth? How old is the Earth? This is one of those questions that is multiple choice. 4.54 billion years, 430 million years, or 80 trillion years? How old is the Earth? What do you think? How old is the Earth? I want to verify because I don't believe what they're telling me. Yep. Okay, I'm going to the chat. What do you guys think? What is your best guess? I think this is probably the most correct answer. We don't know. Yeah. Oh, I'll scroll back a little bit. 11,780, says Deidre and Trevor. Uncle Jim says 4.5 billion. Yeah, that's the most correct answer. John says 4.3 billion. Too old, says Mindy. 4.5 bill. 9 billion, says William. 4.56 billion, says Nullifidian. Yeah, the correct answer on that, 4.54 billion years old, but they're still researching and looking, so they can't say for sure, but that's what they think. All right. What sedimentary rock is formed when plant matter is buried and compressed over millions of years? What sedimentary rock is formed when plant matter is buried and then it's compressed over millions of years? Yeah, you guys got it. It's coal. You would have thought it would have been peat, but the answer is coal. hmm Coal, shale, coal, says Gordon. Yeah, it's coal. I didn't know that either. That's cool. All right. And this will be the last one. How does beach sand form? Is it petrification of topsoil? Is it compression of volcanic rocks? Or is it ocean waves grinding rocks into grains over an extremely long time? Petrification of topsoil, compression of volcanic rocks, or ocean waves grinding tiny grains down over time? I'm going in. It is. Yeah, it's ocean waves. I'll take tides. I'll take waves. I'll take the grinding. Yeah. Deidre says, I always thought it was water. Yeah, it's ocean waves grinding over time. Ocean waves grinding rocks into sand. Nullifidian as well. Third choice, says Uncle Jed. That's correct. Yeah, you guys got it. All right. Well, that was geology. That was a pretty fun one. If you have any suggestions for a trivia topic that you would like me to do, please email me. And here is the email address. It is kim@theafterparty.live. kim@theafterparty.live. So you can email me locations for Travel Tuesday. You can email me trivia topics, caves, waterfalls, or generally whatever you want to email me. Well, maybe not everything, but you know what I mean. Yes, I would love to hear from you. So, you want TV trivia? We've done that before, but we could do it again. Yeah. Ooh, Lensman, I like the answer. Small plankton skeletons. Skeletons, cool. How about quantum physics? Okay, so here's the thing, Blue Spark. It has to be things that people can answer or it's not fun, right? We have to have a chance in hell at knowing the answer. I thought that was a fun one too, Sandy. Thank you. Show tunes. I like it. It'd be more fun if I could play the music, but I'd get all kinds of copyright dings for that. Spirits. We've done liquor before a couple times, but maybe we'll do it again. Yeah. Bowie trivia. I'll smoke everyone, says Trevor. Spirits of the world, Louise says, and I mean booze. I'm going to do booze again. That'll be fun. All right. Well, that is, my friends, Trivia Thursday. Thank you for playing with me. I always have so much fun with you guys on Thursday, so thank you for that. Again, tonight, 5 p.m., The Nikki Maduro Show. Cocktails, mocktails, and politics, and we'll have a lot to talk about. It'll be really fun. So I hope you'll join me at 5 p.m. here on YouTube. And then tomorrow on The Mark Thompson Show at 11 a.m. Pacific, Friday Fabulous Florida, Michael Schur, Michael Snyder, and then I'm so excited here on the After Party Live to welcome Tim Sika on our Friday. All right, you guys, have a great rest of your day. Please make it a very good one, and I really appreciate you spending time together today. I had a great time with you. Bye-bye.
The After Party Live would like to thank the following contributors and viewers like you.
currently working on a Native American Indian village project. So after we do the project, then we'll get to the music. When they say the kid has to do a project, what they really mean is the parent has to help do the project. Oh, happy birthday! Happy birthday to your boy or to your baby. Happy birthday, Deidre's baby girl. By the way, Deidre, you're not blocked from the Mark Thompson show. I double checked.